Hi, friends. I have no words. I still don't. I'm absolutely shocked. Literally shocked. Not surprised, shocked. Uh, Sarah and I had a more meaningful conversation prior to this event, more than once. That was absolutely and utterly stupid, and I'm never wasting my time again. I'm just kidding. It was stupid, but it's a learning experience. Tori, why didn't you say anything? Because what the fuck am I supposed to say against a moral assertion? Like, what would you like me do you want me to get triggered? Nothing triggers me. It should, but nothing does. Like, how is that even the topic? I don't know how to I don't know how to say this without being pretentious, but you know what? Fuck it. Um, how can you have a 2-hour debate on fundamental philosophy 101? I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I like for a while I was like, maybe I'm hard on myself. No, I actually find whatever the fuck that was, aside from seeing Andrew and Sarah, love them, okay? Aside from spending time with them, I was actually dumbfounded the whole time. It's not that I didn't understand. That was the worst I think I've ever watched. The worst conversation, the worst "Why are you both talking about your feelings?" Or not even both. Why are all of you losers? Losers with love, but like what the fuck were you like the fact that like rights, I genuinely thought it was going to end. I was like, "Oh, they're just going semantic wise. That's fine. I've been here." And I was shocked every 5 minutes. I had to get drunk. I had to get drunk. It was a good thing I grabbed that before it started. I almost didn't. Like the video. That what I from now on, I don't think I can ever I can't my brain doesn't go back that way. I just don't know how to articulate why are you responding to Andrew right now? Stop it. Stop it. Let me teach you some philosophy 101. Okay. I had chicken tenders and mashed potatoes right before this, and I feel wonderful. I was so hungry, y'all. I was like, this can't possibly go on longer than it is. But people love to hear themselves talk. Waste of my time. Just kidding. Okay, so philosophy number, it makes me so sad. Hold on. It makes me so sad when I see secularists or atheists look so defeated. Not defeated, just listen, I get it. You see Andrew, he's scary. But Andrew and you have one thing in common, and it's a pretty big thing. It's a pretty big thing. What is that? Moral beliefs? Yes. Okay. Somebody's moral framework is always subjective. Always. Always. Unless somebody would like to grant its objectivity for sake of argument to move forward, fine. It is always subjective. So when somebody says something like, well, like, which is worse, religion or no religion? They're the same. They're the same. It's not people commit crimes in the name of God or people don't commit crimes in the name of God. It's that people commit crimes. Period. what's the difference between like a Christian country that was rich and the other one that isn't rich? I don't know. Maybe the fact that religion and non-religion doesn't fucking matter. Maybe that. With love. Okay, atheists, love you. Hi. Hi. Okay, why does what is going on? Like, what was the whole point? Why is it so annoying to me? Because how do you have a debate on moral subjectivity for 2 hours? Nobody in a professional debate space would do that ever. You would be looked at as stupid for bringing it up. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. And don't get me wrong, there's moments, beautiful moments, where you can pin somebody down on that and at least win over the audience. But I felt like my brain was rotting the whole time. And everybody on the panel is great. The only one that kept me from my brain rotting, who I wish would have spoke up more, was me. No, was Fatty. In the beginning, I was like, great, keep it going. I thought it was going to end. It didn't. It didn't end. I was shocked. I would have not joined. It's like, why didn't you say anything? I thought, they were triggered. They would let it go, but no. Fucking bitches. Pathetic. There's nothing I can say to why somebody feels a certain way. Grow up. Why would I come in there and defend why mine's better? We're the same. I know you don't like to think that. And it's cute that you can say, oh, it's this. Cute. Fucking cute. Anyways, let's go over what the proposition was. Me and Sarah worked so hard. We did. And I believe Andrew I think she went to Andrew. Andrew gave her like that topic, whatever, but it was like based on all that. We spent 2 days. Okay, 2 days. 2 days. All day. Yeah. For it to lead up to be something as fucking stupid as a debate on rights that didn't even go into rights. I can't. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How can you even start a debate? I don't know. It's a blur. It's a fucking blur. But if I don't say anything, not like, oh, I'm a victim. No. You're stupid. What the hell was that? Okay, I'll shut up. Okay, so what was the topic? Should Christians promote women's rights? Let's break it the fuck down. I was hopeful with Fairy. She was like, oh, maybe a little bit too much of breaking it down, but don't worry, I'm here. Okay. The effort was there, okay? A Twitch debater, the effort was there. Was it not? She is welcomed over here, baby. Okay, should Christians promote women's rights? Should Christians promote women's rights? I wonder what that's about. Could it possibly be that, in the church, feminism, me and Rolo, bye, now I'm a DJ. Me and Rolo talk about how feminism has invaded, okay, my jaw, side note, is so forward right now, so I look chunky or sick, either or. Me and Rolo talk about how feminism has infiltrated the church. Okay, so should Christians promote women's rights? Well, they did. Or if they didn't, where since when do Christians have the monopoly on rights? They don't run the fucking country. I can't. Like, I don't even know how to dumb it down. Should Christians promote women's rights? Okay. Okay. If I had to be generous, should Christians be in favor of feminism? But that doesn't do it, right? Because of that promote word. Promote, you know? So, should Christians promote women's rights? Well, I know in the church, it's patriarchy is standard. That's what it is. It's patriarchy. And so, do you guys want to hear my opening? I'm too shy to do it. I was like, let's feel it out. I'm like, you know what? I already died on the hill that I will just state my assertion. But I prepped for this shit, so why not? Okay. Why not? So I'm like, hold on, let me get my notes. Should Christians promote women's rights? Today it's about rights, but when things go wrong 5 years from now, it will be about power. It will inevitably fall because men didn't man up or because men let it happen. Like, that's where I thought this was going. It's like, okay. Something that's really well known in the literature, if maybe you're not somebody who's religious, is that a form of feminism has been infiltrating the church since like the 16th century. And it's been tackling the idea of what was in the biblical text since then. Which is, let me go to my other notes. Okay. Well, actually, let me read this part first. Promoting women's rights within the church is often framed as expanding women's roles into traditionally male domains, such as pastors. However, these roles exist for specific reasons tied to maintaining church stability and moral guidance. Changing these roles without careful consideration risks disrupting the balance that has kept these communities functioning effectively for centuries. Okay. My first argument, which I have 3, but I only was going to go off of 1, but we never got there. We literally never got there. It's fine. I feel like the biggest argument was that if men are not the ones in the power, like, okay, hold on, step back. When feminism hears about the patriarchy or hears about religion being a patriarchy specifically, and women are not pastors and yada, 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 yada. It's like, well, why can't women just go into these roles? Because the Bible wasn't made for women. It was made for men. Now, can you be religious? Absolutely. Okay. But hear me out on this one, bitches. Okay. Men as a whole, and we can see it in the world right now, men need responsibility for purpose. It's obvious. How do I know this? It's obvious. You have men sedating themselves with drugs, alcohol, pornography, whatever. At a certain point in time, religion provided them stability. Also marriage, but like same thing. Okay, same thing. But it's like when you take any responsibility away from men, what happens? And the feminists are like, but I want to be in a position of power. Okay, bitch, listen. You want to be a pastor. Why? Torrie, what the fuck? What the fuck? You want to be a pastor. Why? Because you already volunteer. You already support the church. You're looking for a job. Okay, why do you want it? Why do you want it? As soon as they say, you know what, let's make the roles in the church equal, egalitarian, if you will, which I am in support of egalitarianism, but not in the church. Not in the church. If you were to put women in these roles, then it would, like, on a line, you have women, you put them in the leadership positions, putting men in the leadership positions, it doesn't really mean anything anymore. And women are intrinsically moral. Not all of them, but hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Men have a propensity for violence. Men are more likely to get into fights. Men partake in a dominance hierarchy, which was brought to my attention yesterday as not intrinsic. So, but because that was yesterday and I'm still evolving on that, we're going to pretend like it is intrinsic. Some people would argue it is. I'm unsure. But up until yesterday, I believe it is. So, if you were to give women roles that, or I'm sorry, let's keep going. So, men, in order to keep men in line, or the theory was to have something like responsibility that keeps that in check. So if you were to take a woman and put her in a position that was technically a male role, what you're really saying in some fucked up way that I'll explain when I get to chauvinism, in some fucked up way, you're essentially taking that responsibility off the men, putting it on your damn self, and wondering why they don't do anything, wondering why men are not motivated to do anything, wondering why you end up doing more work, nurturing, and the church. Like, it was believed that giving men the responsibility held them accountable. It held men accountable because the women weren't picking up the slack. You put women in that position, they're picking up the slack, and men don't do anything with it. No offense to my men, okay? But a Christian might word it in a way that's like, well, it's been in the Bible and it's always been this way. Men have specific roles and women have specific roles. The fundamental part of it is that if women were to go into those roles, men would have no incentive to do it. Is it because they see it as a womanly job now? I don't think so. I think it's that women have this beautiful ability to endure a lot of shit. Okay. So can men, but women, we there's something about being able to, like, through our bodies with a baby. We're more accustomed to having to work through pain from like a young age. Okay. I'm not saying they're better than men. I just think the experience is different. That's all. Um, but that's the main one. So if you wanted true equality in the church, where it is you maintain the roles, or, well, if you wanted true equality in the church, ask yourself why you think there isn't already, is like the better question. I'm not religious, but I can understand the complexity of it. And it truly is a balancing equation. If you're viewing it like men taking control of this power through like a need for power, you're viewing it in the way of chauvinism. And with that, chauvinism fundamentally serves women. So it ends up contradicting itself. I'll explain it. Sorry. But it's like, if you want to have those leadership roles in the church, and you don't have to hold on the moral responsibility of everybody, even though you will, but like technically in your view, you don't, not yet. Then what ends up happening is that it ends up being a flipped power dynamic from what you believed was the men, and that they're um, fundamentally malicious, that you flipped it to her under the guise that it's equal. This is why I hate hearing people that believe in like They're like, everybody deserves everything in order to get it equal. I understand it, but when you go trying to lift somebody up for these roles just because you think they should have equal opportunity, we're failing. Okay? All you did was shift that power dynamic, which leads me to believe that the only course or only goal of feminism in regards to the church is to get power. So a better question is what's your goal of women's rights in the church? What do women get that men don't get? I was thinking the only logical reasoning was that. Like it was being put in a leadership position. That was the only logical one. But we went on to a conversation about rights. More on that later. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure we're good. And I'm not religious, but there's harmony in religion, and those that see it as tyrannical, if you will, or archaic and outdated, it's different when I say it because of other reasons, but typically you're coming from a place of judgment, which was ironic. That whole fucking debate blew my mind. I was like, they are both blaming each other under the guise that they're better. Tribal losers. You're both right. Now, how do we implement both? Because some of them fundamentally contradict the other. So, maybe we don't include those parts, but maybe we include those. Great, let's do it. But no, it's, well, my dick is bigger because you guys sacrifice children. I have some news for both of y'all. You both did. Shocker, isn't it? Shocker. So, people did that. People. Another thing that blew my mind is I think it's so bold, and I bit my tongue on this. It's with love, okay, with love. There's no right way for me to come into a conversation on the concept of like a deity and this irrational, dogmatic belief that because we follow a moral, a God, omnis, whatever, you know the word, like all this. Well, we to get our morals, we do it from here. I'm not even going to be the loser that's like, well, just because you're obedient. I'm not even talking about that. But it blows my mind that you think this book came out of fucking thin air. You were not first, which means that fundamentally, somebody wrote that book, right? It would have to happen logically. Okay, it didn't come out of thin air unless we're going to go there, but I won't even be rude about it. Okay, somebody had to write it. I wonder who did that. Could it have been a person? Yeah. So either the Bible actually came from some man in the sky, which we all know, even the religious ones. I know you know that that's not possible in some regard, with love. Okay, I'm being respectful. So then it came from a person. Was he schizophrenic? I don't know yet. Has anybody explored it? No, but seriously, a person. So if it came from a person, that means that our morals, you know, the shit that's subjective, came from a person first, bitch. Not fucking. But they always do that thing. I'm like, you guys, like, I'm just gonna shut up. I probably laughed at it. Okay. I probably did. Okay. But like, when people are going at these like moral arguments and they're amped up, there's nothing you really can say. But I mean, you could, but it's like you just like to hear. I had nothing to add. Nothing. I think I said one thing. I don't even remember what it was. Mm, I think it had. Did it pertain to God? It was probably something good. Okay. Probably. I don't remember. If somebody remembers, put it in the chat. Okay, so anyways, like rights. Boring. Okay, boring. So if we look at what happened with the feminist movement from, we'll just go 1970s, okay, Gloria Steinem. Did she die alone? I think she did. I don't remember actually. Wait, Gloria Steinem was like the political is whatever. Sorry, I'm tipsy. The personal is political. Shut up, Gloria. With love. Okay, anyways. So around the 70s was when you started to see um feminism coming into the church. Now, some Christians will say, well, not those ones. Okay. Tribal. Those are your peeps. It's the Catholics. Okay, well, at least they can fucking stay together. I don't even know at this point. Okay. Anyways, so since the 70s, feminism has been infiltrating the church. Is it a bad thing? It disrupts the power dynamic and shifts it to them. He's not a real man unless he does this. You put a woman in a pastor position and it really quickly gets personal. I'm just kidding. A little sexist. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Fucking anyways, so feminism's been infiltrating, say it again, since the 70s. And the men have not really they've allowed it more than the religious people will fucking say that they did. Um quite honestly, I would argue that that's one of the reasons men don't join the church. Um but there was a new study that came out saying that boys, men, young men are joining the church and women are dropping out, like young women. I wonder why. It benefits them? Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. But I would argue that the reason that, well, actually, I don't know. Let me see. Because the church started, when would you guys say that the church has been less and less? I was born in 95, and I find that that was like the cusp of Sunday service. No? Anybody? I grew up in Elmwood Park, which was a uh, Roman Catholic area, Easter, Christmas, the whole nine. I went to a Catholic school, actually. Fun fact. Fun. Oh, little me. Fucking shit up. I loved it. I loved Catholic school. It was so much fun. Kindergarten was lit. It was so much fun. I feel like it wasn't until I would say probably around this time because the internet started to get people were starting to own a computer in 95, I believe. Some people owned them earlier if they were rich. But anyways, so it's been declining for a long time. It's only been recently that that stat I was saying or whatever has been going on. Um, but if you look at the way that society is today, oh my god, it's popping. Hi. All right, I tried. Hope you read the no, what'd you say? Okay, hold on. Male always gives the input. Hold on. There are many instances in the Bible you could have used to off your point. I had a few of them. I got them specifically from Dalrock. Are you guys familiar with Dalrock? Dalrock is the I would argue the first alpha male, the first original red pillar that was able to intersect Christianity, game theory, feminism. But he was the first to articulate it from a Christian worldview. And what was interesting about Dalrock was that he was in Rollo's fourth book, Religion. Like Rollo got a lot of insight from him. The more you know. But if you've never seen his blog, right before this, I was trying to find the piece on chivalry, but I realized that the site has been not, what do you call it? He exited a long time ago, and it's been about 10 years, maybe longer than that, that now the site is just not there. You know, when it's like, "Log into your WordPress," you're like, "Oh, no." So homeboy wasn't paying. I don't know. But I was able to find some archives, but there was just so many brilliant, interviews translated to text, and it was all on identity politics, it was all on feminism, it was so good, and the way that he articulated it, he was quoting Bible verses, but he also was like, not Ruslan, love Ruslan, but, like, he had an edge to him. He would talk about how you should game your wife because everything that comes to sustaining a religious marriage is fundamentally chauvinistic, and chauvinistic to Dalrock was I have it actually, da, 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 it was, like, fundamentally flawed, wherever it was. Mm, mm, mm. It is how do you even spell that? Chauvinistic. Okay. So Dalrock would say that it's a distortion of the biblical model of male leadership, where men view their role as an entitlement to power rather than a burden of responsibility. Okay, so it's like chauvinism. Dalrock believes that true male leadership within the church and family is about accountability, moral guidance, and service. Chauvinism, however, corrupts this intent by making leadership about dominance, self interest, and asserting authority over others rather than fulfilling a duty to support and protect the community. He sees it as a misguided response to the disruption of traditional roles due to feminism. Men either overcompensate to reassert their authority or disengage entirely, both of which lead to dysfunction in the church and family. Anyways, if you want to read Dalrock, you can type in Dalrock archives, and some of the stuff is on the Red Pill archive page. Feminism was always bad. Can't even stand suffragettes. The crazy part about it is, like, if anybody sees us critique feminism, it it's automatically assumed that we're sexist, and I don't know how to wake them up. I genuinely don't. I try every day to be like, "Okay, why do they think this way?" Um, sorry, my camera's kind of out of focus. Stunning. I'm just kidding. I'm like, "Why is my eyeball missing some eyeliner?" I don't know. Um, but it's like the reactionary, I guess, response is like, "Oh, they're just misogynistic," and don't get me wrong, okay? I'll be the first, okay? The first to call out some shitty male behavior. But if you have a large group talking about something, you might be the problem. I know you might not think it, but you might be. Because technically, feminism and, red pillars are both correct. Now how do you implement them? When it comes to solving just, fucking the dilemma, the gender war, it's like you have people, a large portion of people that think it's obvious, like, of course we wanna give true equality to everybody, that's a great thing to strive for. You are treating people as a monolith. Sorry, I have a hard time with that one. The reality is, and I know they know this because they talk about intersectionality all the fucking time. You know who were the first intersectionality alists? I don't even know how you'd say that. Red pillars. Red pillars. Um, but everybody got mad and assumed it was misogyny. Okay. But anyway, so Dalrock was the first to put gender roles or traditional roles, specifically church-wise, into a way that made it obvious that men had responsibility. So, highly recommend going over there. But anyways, let's go back into the debate. I'm trying to think of what else was brought up. Um, Let me read what some of you guys were saying. You said about 40 words the whole time. I don't even think I've said that many. Let's ignore the book we follow as written by our God and make our own rules, which makes it secular. So, actually, we should talk about something I've noticed in these debates. Like, if it's about defending your belief sets, um, for sure, but it's also about not taking the bait. Um, it blows my mind that that's how, these conversations go on the internet. Uh-uh, Imma make sure that shit don't happen. Imma make sure of it. Like, what's the point? How are you it's all subjective. Morals are subjective, and guess what? Morals are what you do. They're not what everybody does. Don't piss me off. Okay, please don't. I check out. You start fucking complaining to I'm out. I'll stay there, but, like, morals are what you do, and no matter what somebody says about them, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. There's always a loophole. There is no one way to set up society with morals. We wanna think there is, and there probably is, but we're not getting to it by this tribalistic, "I'm better than you." This side is, PDF files and blows you both are. Wake up. It's like, which society would we run under better? Like, when you guys realize that this it's like, I can't even say, "Oh, could I?" You guys tell me. It's like, if you're a hard determinist and people say shit like that, it's like, "Well, it's predetermined." What the fuck am I supposed to say? "What do you mean it's predetermined?" Oh, now I gotta have a fucking determinist debate with a Christian whose worldview depends on free will? I mean, if they believe in a sky daddy, maybe I can convince them of I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, I love you. I love all of you, okay? I love my Christians. I love my secularists too. I just think you need a daddy, and that's me. I feel like we need to be like, "No, no, not that one. You can have all of that, but none of that." Okay? I have what's best in mind, okay? I promise. It has to be for somebody else, because if it was for me, I wouldn't care. Genuinely. But anyways, Torsha, not all Christians are the same. People are. Most people are. So culturally, that's another thing. Culturally, things are gonna be different. Are there some things that we all know to be, like, fundamentally, I don't know, gross, immoral, if you will? It's like, okay, and that's what they do. I'd never heard of that tribe, and you best believe I'll be looking it up because that disgusts me. But something tells me it was not true. But let's assume that it was true, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, essentially, so and so was saying that there's a tribe in Guinea, New Guinea, an island, I don't know if I'm confusing 2 points, where the men will fellatio to men. That was my first thing. I was like, "Is it young? Like, what's the age?" You know? Do they even have an age of consent? That's a moral dilemma, okay? But it's like they would do that in order to get, deemed males deemed males, men, manhood, initiation, sorry. It's like, I feel like they still do that actually. They do something similar. Sorry, I had to boys are weird. Anyways, it's like we know that, like, sexually exploiting children or, like, can sexual exploitation also be, like, showing graphic images and stuff? It's like anything that goes against the children's innocence, I find to be disgusting, you know? But shit happens. But I don't know what to do about a tribe I've never heard of in a place I've never heard of. Oh, no proof, no nothing, like, prove it first before I give an opinion on nothing, you know? I'll look it up later because it probably could exist. I just didn't see proof of it. But it's like, where do we come up with these things that we do? And it's like, let me let you in on a little secret, okay? It all deals with suffering. So, when somebody who was brilliant left a super chat that said something of the lines of, if we took away women's right to vote, but it ended all suffering everywhere. The fact that both people did not definitively say yes tells me that this was fucking stupid. Maybe one person did, but, like, the fact that you even have to question it, and it's like, well, if you're taking away somebody's right to vote, you know, that's taking away the right, and it's like, do you hear yourself? Everything we do is on the grounds of suffering. I know you might not think it is, but on some level it is, whether you think it's justified or not. It's like different levels, but it's like, you're telling me if you knew nobody would suffer anymore. Even you suffering after the vote, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't be suffer like, I can't. Like, hello? Um, that is the idea of a religion. If you remove I'm sorry, if you remove the religion and think secularism should dominate a religion, then you've missed the point of a religion. They both deserve to exist, both of them. Um, both of them deserve to exist, obviously. It's like that's a normal is it a normal take? That's a secular take, but I'm saying it on the grounds of something else that I don't know how to articulate. We all share we all share, like, a collective understanding, but I would say there's probably, like, 2 to 4 different ways of perceiving the world. Um, and so when there's a group that I fundamentally disagree with, but it doesn't involve anything that is like murder, right? You disagree with them because you think they're stupid, but you don't think they're like murderers. It's like they're the fact that you can't even see where they're coming from at all. You guys are the same. Like, I don't know any other way. Like, it's like cute. It's like cute that you think you're different. You're fine. It's like when I say, you know, "I'm different." It's like, women act a lot similar, you know? It's like, so do you. So do you, but I would never take away something that brings somebody peace. But I also there was one thing hold on. There was one thing that I bit my tongue so hard on, and it was somebody was like, "What would you do if somebody said that they're gonna kill people in the name of God?" I thought to myself, 5 150. It's like, how do I know that that isn't somebody with just a religion, somebody that just follows a religion? Because my worldview, people that do things that run on like antisocial, I say not antisocial antisocial personality disorder, just behaviors that um, go against like the benefit of everybody. Like if it's selfish, if you will, like things that make us go, oh my God, loser. There's certain people. Those people are probably more, um, I say mental illness, but that doesn't mean that somebody with a mental illness behaves that way. I just think that certain factors can affect the way that people take in different knowledge. And so people that will say they're going to kill people in the name of God, probably actively psychotic, okay, but not necessarily harmful. Not necessarily. Most often, probably not. But the ones that do commit those acts, you cannot convince me, unless you do a brain scan, that it was anything else. And I know that is loaded because it's like, well, if we get a brain scan, then what? And it's like, what? You don't think you'll find anything? $100. $100. Um, the religious dogma needs to go, in my opinion. Dogma needs to go. Dogma, dogma. Um, what is dogma? Dogma is probably what Andrew's talking about when he thinks about enforcement. I'm just kidding. I think it's like political or religious dogma definition. I said it was on both sides because I know that. A principle, wait, that's not. Something held as an established opinion, especially a definitive, authoritative tenet. Really? Why do I feel like that's not what it means? I mean, it is, but it's just like one way to go about it. Hold on. Dogma? A set of beliefs that are considered to be unquestionable facts within a religious or political institution. Okay, that makes more sense to me. And it's like, well, Tory Christians do that all the time. Yeah, so do schizophrenics. There's a difference. I just don't know how to articulate it. Okay, I don't. But just because somebody believe like, there's a few differences, okay? Are they It's like you could have your testimony could be, "God, I saw it. I saw him." To It's usually something like that. They're like, "I felt him," some sort of sensory experience. They were going through a hard time, and just when they thought that it couldn't get any worse, it did, and then it got better and, like, helped me through this. I don't disagree with you. I don't. Um, well, I do, but, like, I don't even fault people for saying that, but tell me how that's anything different than somebody who says, "I heard God come to me last night." Like, one of them is giving auditory, a little bit, just a little, I don't know. But if you put me in front of both people, I could tell, and it has nothing to do with skin color or physical attributes. If anything, it's just the eyes. I can just tell. Either you're manic, love you, or you're not. Like, people I know it sounds so funny when I say that, but, like, there's, like, scientific evidence. Like, people are like, "You secularists or you atheists don't know what evil looks like because you never had to look it in the eye." And it's like, "Babe, mania? Easy, easy." And not all mania leads to violence. Matter of fact, most of it isn't. It's like, well, what about the homeless people on the street? Also manic. Okay. I just always took dilated pupils as, like, somebody rolling on MDMA, don't do drugs, but my worldview has since shattered when, on many occasions, you think drugs would show up in the system, and it didn't, and you're just like, "Whoa, the brain can do that." And I genuinely thought that in certain circumstances, I needed to call a priest for an exorcism. Like, how is I sound crazy. Anyways, it doesn't matter. One of my life's goals is to distinguish between people who are religious and people who have, uh, religious delusions, and, like, half of me can see a distinction. I know what it looks like, but I can't describe it other than maybe the eyes, but then the other part of me is like, it's interesting to me that people become religious after 25. Is it really because women don't wanna hoe out anymore? Or is it maybe have to do with, like, brain matter and, I don't know, our frontal lobe finalizes around 25? Is it early Alzheimer's? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. And when the mind breaks down, like, psychosis and then separate dementia, they do follow a linear path, just in reverse, and it confuses me. It's like, why do they both think that they're in a movie? Are we? Am I gonna have a shared psychotic disorder right now? Fully, I do. Anyways, now I'm just talking. I have a video, and it is going to be the best actually, it's arguably the best debate that we are reacting to in the new millennium today, tomorrow. Should we start it today? We could. Um, I'm so excited that this debate has happened and it has been posted. And it is the debate between Jordan B. Peterson and Richard Dawkins, mediated by Alex O'Connor. And if you're not into debates or philosophy, psychology, um, even self improvement, but more so philosophy, you're probably like, oh, okay, it's whatever. I don't think you understand how excited I am for this. You know how I always say there's like this area that I don't know how to articulate and it feels like magnets repelling? I can never find the words for it. The closest thing we have to that is them coming to an agreement. Richard Dawkins and Jordan B. Peterson, both highly intellectual. In the recent years, people try to say that Jordan Peterson has lost his mind, and no, no. They're like are the sooner that they come to an understanding on something, like these big dilemmas, we are going to see a shift in the way that people understand the world, and it's exciting. I'm excited for it. Alex O'Connor's, audience thinks that Jordan Peterson says a bunch of word salad, and I you just don't get it yet. Like, that sounds so pretentious, but I just wanna, like, push people in the right direction. Anyways, I watched, almost all of it. This is a really complicated debate, arguably the most complicated one I've ever listened to, and if the first 2 minutes of it pissed you off, you don't have to watch it. You can come back on the next video. You're not ready yet. It's okay. But essentially, Jordan Peterson is like the best person to articulate the way abstract thinking side of opposite of science, he is the best person to explain that and then empiricism. And Dawkins literally is the closest thing to the most literal, fact-based, You cannot persuade this man anything unless you articulate it in a way that they understand it. But he's so on the other side. Jordan has both of these elements, and he's trying to convey, like, a higher level of consciousness on something that deals with evolution to somebody who is strict in facts and thinks everybody is crazy that says anything in abstract, religion, and I've been saying it, and I don't know how many times I gotta say it, that Jordan Peterson is an atheist. But what I sh agnostic, okay? Agnostic. But a lot of people think that he is religious. Now, it was brought to my attention that, like, a few weeks ago, he was on stage saying that he believes in God and all this stuff, whatever. Up until that, Jordan was not, unless he said it in his book, somebody said that too, I haven't been able to confirm it, but from my understanding of philosophy and, um, these debates, just from a formal background, he's never taken a religious position, popular to contrary belief. He understands that there is value in symbolism, and you know how I say I can't find the words to articulate certain experiences? Abstract art, symbols, logos, if you will, are the closest thing to getting that experience, like, written down, like, there is no language for it. So somehow Jordan has to convince Dawkins that this exists to somebody that does not believe in that at all. If they can get to a consensus, meaning if Jordan can convince Dawkins that this exists and talks to him in medical jargon, so that's the only way I would think it would work, then that makes Dawkins go look at research on the abstract side of things, which means that world is gonna get a lot better, I think, because especially when it comes to, identity politics, specifically, it's gonna be beneficial in the way we understand gender, it's gonna be beneficial in the way that we harmonize with each other. I'm pretty hopeful for it, and, like, I just find it to be the most difficult person. You know how I was saying yesterday, like, physicists, I love them because they, no matter how you try to push them, they're grounded, to fucking grounded. So it's like if anybody can get this world into language, it's gonna be Dawkins, okay? Man is 82, we're running out of time. He's brilliant. Brilliant. I'm so excited. So, that's what's coming up. It's probably gonna be a pretty comprehensive, debate analysis, and I'm gonna try to break it up in parts, but just like I said, if it triggers you, you know, don't watch it. You're not ready for it yet. It's okay. It's like the whole time I was watching it, I couldn't focus on this debate. I was like, "This is revolutionary. I've been waiting for this." I knew they did a debate, but I didn't know when it was coming out. And I did a video where I was like, "It annoys me that, like, Sam Harris, Alex O'Connor, and their audience is thinking that Jordan Peterson, who I'm not even a huge fan of, they think that he is, like, losing his mind." And I'm like, "No, this man is, like, articulating something that doesn't have words." It's like, how does he come up with so many, you know? It's tricky. But anyways, should be good. It's annoying. I kinda like holding this. I know where to put my hands. What? Um, I do feel a shift in consciousness on a universal scale coming. Am I not wrong? I've been saying this, Michael. I I am the most nihilistic bitch. I was like, "People are not gonna believe me." I really do think that we're going in the right direction. I'm just like, "Ew, I would never say that." But I've been seeing, and it could just be the algorithm, but the way that people are talking to each other is getting, it's becoming different. And people can only be in a certain state of being for so long. And I don't know. It should be good though. I'm actually pretty hopeful, and I've never said that. I like being triggered though. True. It's kind of fun. Anything that triggers you is your unconscious coming through. Okay. You want to expedite your level of consciousness. Understand when you do it. I just don't like people spreading false claims. About what? I guess I didn't finalize. Jordan gives, uh, articulates the Bible and religious texts really well. But there's like a fundamental difference between him saying it was divinely ordained, and then it actually happened. But people were thinking that Jordan was taking a stance where he was saying it happened, and he was not doing that. You know, he was speaking about it in a justified way, and it should be justified. You shouldn't write off religion just because it's the opposite of what you believe, and you're being tribal. There's a reason that a text like that has gone centuries. It's not an accident. I would argue it's probably not about power. It turned into it in, like, the 17th century, but it wasn't always that way. There's something to say about the things that are that that don't you can't describe them logically. You can't. The only thing that comes to mind is, like, "Just have faith," and I'm like, "See, hmm, maybe we equate it to religion, but it's really something bigger. Who knows?" Okay? Am I hitting a psychosis? It's possible, not off the table, okay? But I'll let okay? If my mood starts to get paranoid, okay? Someone call crisis, okay? I'm very self-aware, but we never know. Already told people to get me offline if I am, but I don't know. Anyways, divine. I don't know what I said, okay? Leave me alone. The only thing you can write off in religion is tax. True. Jesus too busy eating Pop-Tarts to care right now. You know what I made yesterday? I browned some butter on the stove with brown sugar and then regular sugar, and then I put bananas. I didn't cut the bananas because I don't believe in mutilation, okay? And I rolled it, shut the stove off, and then it gets crispy on it. It doesn't stay on all the way, but put it in a bowl. So good. It's so bad for you. It's so good though. It reminds me of Texas State Brazil. Uh, they're not bananas, they're planos? I don't know, 20 out of 10. Whoa, like toffee. Yes. Yes, and it smells so good. If you don't have candles and you're like, "Oh, I just wanna get in the spirit," brown sugar, regular sugar, bananas, butter, vanilla is always good too, but it'll make it stronger, but I didn't have any. It was so good though. So many French recipes with caramelized butter. Plantain. I think it was a plantain. Make that for me when I come over. Who is that? Dad? Is that you? Anyways, I'm gonna go eat that right now, actually. So, like the video, comment, subscribe, wear your sunscreen, drink water, go to the gym. I feel like I'm missing one. take your vitamins, have some tea, black tea. Why suffer? Okay. L-tyrosine. Okay, I tried to rhyme. Bye. Love you.